Welcome to your exclusive presentation of Kingsley, Pierson, and Fuller Digital Solutions.
Alrighty, how are we doing, folks? Here in Kingsley, Iowa, on a windy day. Had a game, I believe, canceled even today, so kind of in the way dugout, sheltered from the weather, and we have our first Panther up to bat, if you will. So, who am I speaking with?
My name is Kira Huizinga.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. So, Kira, kind of introduce yourself for our viewers and listeners who aren't familiar with who you are. Let's go with who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
Okay. My parents are Ben and Nicole Huizinga. I'm from KP, and I'm 15, coming in as a freshman.
Gotcha. Coming in as a freshman on the team. Did you play last year as an 8th grader as well?
Well, I'm an 8th grader this year, so I'll be a freshman next
year. Gotcha. So 8th grader this year.
Yes.
So first year kind of up at this high school level. How has the transition been for you? Has it kind of been challenging coming up here at the high school level?
Not too bad. Just a little, challenging because I'm a little scared of all the older kids, but
sure. No, I mean, how have they been? I'm sure once you kind of meet them and get to know them, they've probably been great teammates.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the positions you play on the field and kind of where you're at position-wise.
I'm out in the outfield, mostly right field, but all the different outfield positions.
Awesome. Now, talk to me a little bit about offensively. When you get a chance to get up at bat, how has that been going for you this year? What's something you like to kind of focus on up at bat?
I think it's been going pretty well. I'm focusing on just mainly getting my stance and swing, not having my elbow up too high and that kind of stuff.
Do you feel like you've gotten better over the course of this year? Because, I mean, obviously we're kind of deep into the season now and going to be coming up here on the conference tournament not too long. So has that been something you think you've been improving on this year?
I feel like it, yeah.
Awesome. And any goals that you have, either for kind of yourself or from an entire team standpoint that you're looking forward to accomplishing this year?
Just make it far in the tournament.
Awesome. Absolutely. Kira, thanks so much for chatting with me. I appreciate you being the brave soul going first. And awesome. Thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Awesome. Now just pass it to the next Panther here and we'll get you up. All righty. Awesome. And now, who am I speaking with?
I'm Blakely Goodwin.
Blakely, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, kind of same thing. Introduce yourself, how old you are, where you're from, who your parents are, that sort of thing.
I'm 14. I'm from Kingsley, and my parents are Nicole and Todd Goodwin.
Gotcha. So, another freshman on the team, I'm assuming?
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. So, kind of explain to me how it's been this year. Like I kind of asked your teammate there, now up at the high school level, and has it been a little bit different?
Yeah, it's been a big step, but all the girls have been very supportive and helped you gain confidence through it all. So
yeah,
it's very easy on that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it's about. These older girls kind of passing things down to you guys, and when you guys are that age, you'll do the same thing to the younger kids coming after you. So it's great to see that you have that here. Talk to me about your positions, kind of where you play out in the field.
I play really anywhere. I played third, I pitched, I played second, played first, just wherever the coaches want me, I just go and try to play it to my
kind of
best.
utility Swiss Army knife in that way.
Yeah.
Tell me about maybe your favorite position to play, or if you had to pick.
I don't know. I like them all. I like second because I played there the most, I'd say, but
gotcha.
Really I enjoy them all, and
awesome.
It's all fun.
Tell me a little bit, when you do get a chance to go in the circle and pitch, what are some things that you kind of like to think about or things that you think are your strengths?
I don't know. I just try to focus on getting the ball over the plate.
Yeah.
Just try to make a play once or twice a game.
Yeah. Well, and absolutely, you're exactly right, and that's especially when you have a good defense behind you. Throw strikes, they'll hit you grounders, and your defense will help you out a little bit. Awesome. Any goals that you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint this year?
Probably just confidence, having confidence in myself and in my team, and having confidence that everyone will play their roles to their best of their ability. So
awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. Love it. Thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it, and you can pass the mic now to our next Panther here. And it sounds like you guys are all freshmen or going to be. So maybe some of the younger kids here first, but no worries here. Who am I speaking with?
Olivia Bilna.
How are you doing, Olivia?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. Doing great. So why don't you introduce yourself, who your parents are, where are you from, how old you are?
I'm from Kingsley. I'm 14. My parents are Casey and Dustin Bilna, and I'm going to be a freshman next year.
Gotcha. So going to be a freshman here. Kind of same question. It looks like you guys have a good group of kind of 8th graders, going to be freshmen that are on the team here for the first time. So what's your relationship with your teammates, especially the ones your same age?
I think we all get along really well. I like all of my teammates, so I think we're all like a very close-knit team, so that's fun.
Do you play any other sports for Kingsley Pierson?
I'm going to do golf. I play basketball, volleyball, and I cheer.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. And to me, some of these smaller schools, it's really one of those things that you're with the same people kind of year round, and whatever sport you do. And I'm sure that these eighth graders going to be freshmen that you're playing with are people that you've played with before, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Now, anything offensively, when you get the chance to go up to bat, what is one thing you like to think about, or something that you really think you pride yourself on?
I just try to not think too hard and not overthink it and just have fun.
Yeah, no, I've heard that exactly. I tell, what do you think about? And they look at me kind of like, well, I don't really think about anything, because that's kind of, if you think too much, that can be negative in that way too. So kind of just clear your mind, stay calm up there, I'm sure. Any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint this year?
Just keep having fun, and I think we'll all get closer as it goes on. So
yeah.
I think we've all had a lot of fun so far this year. So
yeah, nice. Awesome. And like you said, you guys are only going to be freshmen this year, so plenty more opportunities here at Kingsley Pierson. So Olivia, thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it. Best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. And now, who am I speaking with?
Cadence Hill.
Cadence, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Great to hear. So, kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
My parents are Tony and Tori Hill. I'm 14, and I go to Kingsley Pierson.
Gotcha. So, another freshman, going to be a freshman here?
Yes.
Awesome. So, now, kind of a similar question. How's it been up here at the high school level in your experience?
Kind of scary at first, but like they said, the teammates have really encouraged me to try my best and not be so afraid.
Yeah, and it's one thing is especially you guys are as young as you are, the improvement is really, really fast. I mean, you guys get better very, very quickly. I'm sure Coach sees that, and the other older players see that as well. Tell me a little bit defensively where you're at out in the field.
Mainly shortstop and catcher, but really I could play anywhere if they needed me to.
Sure, gotcha. Talk to me a little bit about that shortstop position. That's a very heavy workload, I would say, on the infield. A lot of balls coming your way. Is that something you're comfortable with, kind of that high workload?
Yeah, sometimes I get a little nervous, but if I make a mistake, I'll shake it off.
Absolutely, and couldn't said it better myself. Softball is, as much mental as it is kind of physical. If you make a mistake, you kind of have to shrug it off and kind of move on and erase that mistake. Talk to me when you're up to bat, kind of your thoughts on getting in the batter's box.
I just think I can do whatever I put my mind to, so I really just try to make contact with the ball and try to hit it over the fence.
Gotcha. Absolutely. That's the thing. Swing with authority, swing with power, and drive the softball. Awesome. Any goals you have, either this year for yourself or from a team standpoint?
Hopefully we get really far in the Western Valley Conference tournament.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for chatting with me. We wish you the best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that was Cadence Hill. Now we'll have our next group of Panthers here. All righty. Welcome in here. Who am I speaking with?
Riley Utash.
Riley, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Great to hear. So, kind of, first off, to start things off, introduce yourself, how old you are, where you're from, who your parents are, that sort of thing.
I'm 14. My parents are Chad and Katie Utash, and I'm from Iowa.
Gotcha. Awesome. So, tell me a little bit about the defensive positions you play on the field.
I play second and short.
Gotcha. So, kind of interchangeable, either one of those middle infield spots. Talk to me a little bit about those positions. Now, to me, it seems that the middle infielders have a really good relationship. They have to be in constant communication, know who's covering the bag, know which balls each other can kind of get to, and that sort of thing. How do you feel your relationship is to the other middle infielders that you may play across from on any
pretty
day?
Good. You just got to talk the whole time, make sure you know who has the ball and who doesn't.
Absolutely. Communication is key. Should never be quiet on the softball field.
Yeah.
Love it. Talk to me offensively. Kind of, how have you been doing batting this year? What are things that you really think you do well when you get up in the box?
My batting's been good. You just have to have a mindset saying that you're going to hit the ball and
Absolutely.
just have confidence that you can and not say you can't.
Yep. And again, I would say, softball and baseball are almost as much mental as they are physical. So you have to have that mindset of wanting to hit the ball. I can hit the ball. And same thing on defense. You want the ball to come to you and be confident in that way.
Yeah.
Any goals that you have? I know the year's kind of getting over the halfway point, like you mentioned, Western Valley Conference is coming up here, so conference tournament rather. Any goals you have?
Probably just to improve more in softball and be better than.
Awesome. Just that kind of constant improvement,
Yep.
and over the years, that's the recipe for success. It really is. Awesome. Thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it. Great to meet you. Best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Now we have our next Panther up at the plate, so to speak. And who am I speaking with?
Honesty Manel.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. Great to hear. So introduce yourself, kind of who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
I'm Honesty. I'm 14, and my parents are Spencer and Candace Smith, and I'm from Iowa.
Gotcha. Awesome. So maybe let's start with, so are you a freshman? Going to be a freshman?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So tell me a little bit about how it's been, maybe kind of this first year up here at this level. Has it been kind of a difficult transition?
I say it's definitely different. It's a little more scary and more competitive, I would say.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just got to get used to, I don't know, different teammates, the higher levels.
Yeah, things like that. Like you said, I mean, it's maybe just a little bit different, but it's same sport, same ball, same glove, same rules, that sort of thing. So now tell me about defensively, kind of where you're positioned and the positions you play.
I've been playing this year. I play left and center field.
Gotcha. So tell me about the outfield. What's something in your mind is most important? Kind of regardless of if you're in center or left, kind of in general, playing in the outfield.
I just say you got to keep a mindset that you can catch the ball and just don't think like, oh, I'm going to drop this. Just have the mindset you can catch it.
Gotcha. Again, mindset, kind of how you're thinking, definitely key.
Yeah.
Talk to me about offensively, kind of your thoughts on how you've been doing this year when you get a chance to get up to bat.
I'd say it's kind of nerve-wracking because the pitchers are obviously probably more accurate, more faster, but just got to have confidence in your batting skills and think that you can definitely do it.
Absolutely. Awesome. What's kind of the one thing that you think you've improved on the most this year? I know we've kind of a good chunk through the season. What's really something that you've seen in your own game that's really come a long way this year?
I definitely know that I can catch a ball in the outfield way better than I could last year.
Gotcha.
So.
And that's one of those things. Just reps. You need reps, and just having more of those gets you better. Simple as that. Any goals you have for the rest of this year, either for yourself or from a team standpoint?
I think I just not really, but I feel like I can just probably improve on softball in general.
Gotcha.
Be a better.
Gotcha. Just continue to improve, and it can be the same for your teammates. Just having them continue to improve, and that's how a team as a whole gets better as well. So awesome. Thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it. Best of luck this season. Alrighty. Our next Panther, who am I speaking with?
Haley Whittle.
Haley, how are you doing?
I'm good. How
awesome. So kind of introduce yourself, how old you are, who your parents are, that sort of thing.
I'm Haley Whittle. I'm 14. My parents are Daniel and Roxanne Whittle, and I'm from Iowa.
Gotcha. So, obviously, 14 you said. Are you going to be a freshman this year as well? Gotcha. So there's a big group of you kind of 8th graders going to be freshmen. So how has it been kind of from your perspective, how have the older kids been kind of embracing you guys onto the squad this year?
Well, it's been nervous because like they've all like experienced the high school level, but we just came here and we're now getting to experience, and it's been great. I love the high school experience.
Awesome. Great to hear. Now talk to me a little bit about the positions you play out in the field.
I usually play right field.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about that right field position. To me, especially with right-handed batters, if you have a really good pitcher that's fast, and they're going to be late on that ball, and the ball's coming out there to you. So maybe, I don't know, it feels like to me maybe when you're T-ball and younger, they kind of just maybe throw you out in right field. But here it's you need a good right fielder. So what are your thoughts on kind of playing there?
Well, I guess it's different because I didn't play last year, but I played the year before. So it was different because there's faster pitchers, there's faster batters.
Yep.
And it's just like the ball's coming right to you, and it's like, oh my God, I'm going to drop this.
Yeah. Same game, but like you said, just kind of a different speed, and it's something that you maybe have to get used to at first, but after, a good chunk of your first year and moving on, I'm sure you'll do well. Talk to me about any goals that you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint this season.
I'd say, like, staying confident in the batter's box and, like, keep making improvements.
Yeah, just confident and keep improving. Love it. Great philosophy to have. Well, thanks for chatting with me, Haley, and appreciate you. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, and our next Kingsley Pierson Panther. Who am I speaking with?
I'm Bailey Kirsten.
Bailey, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome, great to hear. Kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
I'm from Cushing.
Awesome.
My parents' names are Christy and Jim Karstens, and I'm 14.
Gotcha. So, going to be a freshman as well, I'm assuming? Awesome. So, kind of same question to you. How has it been, the transition kind of from now up here at the high school level? Has it been difficult? Have you found it fairly easy? What are your thoughts on that?
Kind of difficult because a lot of, like, the work is hard. Like,
yeah.
Schoolwork is harder now. You have to be more focused than you...
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Now, where do you play positionally? Like, where are you out in the field at?
I'm usually outfield, right, left, center, basically anywhere.
Gotcha. Talk to me about kind of your bat. How has that come along this year? How have you done offensively when you get a chance to go up to bat?
I think I'm better at batting than I was.
Sure.
It's still kind of scary going up there, though, because you don't know if you're going to hit the ball well or not.
Sure,
Or
yeah.
sometimes you might miss a sign that
Sure.
usually the third base coach gives
Gotcha.
you signs, and you might miss some.
Just maybe a little bit more going on up here at this level. Awesome. Now, one of the questions I was going to ask is what you feel like you've kind of gotten better at. I think you kind of answered that. You said batting. You feel like it's been a little bit better. Do you have any goals or really anything that you're kind of still looking at improving?
I think I want to improve my throwing
Sure.
and aiming because sometimes I throw the ball way over my catching partner's head.
Yeah.
Or
Gotcha. Yeah. And that's one of those things, like, it takes reps. It takes the practice. And like you mentioned, you're only coming to be a freshman, so first year of many that we'll see here at Kingsley. But thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it, and best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. We got some more Panthers coming in here. We're getting a little small groups, 3 to 4 girls. So our next little group's up. And who am I speaking with?
Delaney Evans.
Delaney, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. So kind of, first off, introduce yourself. Let's start with who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
Okay, my parents are Jenny and Terry Evans. I'm 14 and I'm from Ouachita.
Gotcha. So 14, are you going to be a freshman this upcoming year? Gotcha. So another one of the 8th graders going to be freshmen. How has it been for you, kind of the transition up here to the high school level? Has it been difficult, fairly easy? I guess, what are your thoughts?
It's been pretty easy. I know a lot of the girls, but a little scary.
Gotcha. Kind of, it's one of those things where it's the same game, same ball, same bat, but maybe a different speed. Everything's a little bit faster and that sort of thing. So it takes a little bit to kind of get used to, I'm sure. Talk to me positionally, kind of where you're at on the field.
Third base for JV, and then when we have JVR games, sometimes I play center field because we don't have many outfielders.
Gotcha. So talk to me a little bit about that third base position, the hot corner as they call it. Kind of, I would say, along with shortstop, one of the infield positions that kind of a high workload. You get a lot of balls coming to you. Is that something that you're really confident with and kind of embrace that position over there?
Most of the time, yeah.
Awesome. Talk to me about your batting and that. How has that kind of come along this year?
It's been pretty good. Better than it was last year. I think I'm more confident this year than I was last year. So.
Gotcha. I mean, anything specifically in your mind that you've kind of worked on improving or specifically this year, any certain thing that you've worked on?
I've been making sure to keep my head in the game more because I always pulled my head when I was batting and not keeping my head on the ball. Gotcha. Kind of at that last second, getting a little too ahead of yourself, and awesome. So it's great to see because that's one of those things that's, if you know what's wrong, then you can fix it. So it's great to see that you've kind of been able to figure it out and now are working to fix that. Talk to me a little bit about any goals that you have, either for yourself or from an entire team standpoint, that you're really looking forward to accomplishing this year. Well, this is my first year at third base, so I just want to keep making good plays at third.
Awesome.
Keep learning how to do that and learning from upperclassmen.
Yeah.
And teaching me how to do
better.
Yeah,
absolutely, because that's exactly how it happens. I mean, those upperclassmen, they pass things down to you, and then when you're that age, you pass things down to the girls coming after you. So it's how things work, and that's how the culture is kind of built and passed down. So awesome. Delaney, thanks so much for chatting with me.
Yep.
Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, and we'll have our next Panther. All right, who am I speaking with?
McKinley Edwards.
McKinley, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great, awesome. So kind of introduce yourself, how old you are, who your parents are, where you're from. Let's start with those sorts of things.
So I am 14. My parents are John and Katie Edwards, and yeah.
Gotcha. So 14, gonna be a freshman, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Wow, there is a huge group of you like 8th graders gonna be freshmen. What's your relationship like with your teammates, especially your teammates kind of your same grade? How has it been this year?
I'd say it's been pretty good.
Awesome. I feel like, to me, that's key to success of any team, kind of that chemistry and that sort of thing. Now, tell me a little bit about the positions you play, kind of where you find yourself out in the field.
So I play third and first base.
Gotcha. So kind of on either corner.
Yeah.
Now that's, people might think it's the same kind of, it's just a corner on the other side, but those positions, I tell you, could not be more different, third and first. So how do you do you feel like you're versatile enough to play first and then play third like that?
Yeah, it's actually my first year playing first base, so it's
Gotcha. Has that been something that kind of coaches expressed, that he kind of wants you over there at first base, or kind of been putting over there at first base to get reps?
Yes.
Awesome. And that's one of those things where anything that you can do to help the team win is the mentality that it's great to have as a player. Now, tell me about batting. How has that been this year? Your thoughts on how that's come along?
Pretty good. I think I've corrected my swing pretty well this coming year.
Gotcha.
Than it has last year.
Gotcha. So that's really something that you've been working on. I mean, what about it? Is it just the fact that you need to stay level, keeping your head in, or?
I just like to put my weight on my front foot instead of keeping it back. So.
Gotcha. Maybe too heavy on the front foot there can get you off balance a little bit, especially. It might work a little bit at the lower levels because, not very much in terms of breaking balls and stuff like that. But especially up here at this level, you get too heavy on that front foot and definitely going to be off balance there. So, but that's, like you said, at least and you kind of made to fix it and improve. Any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint, you'd like to accomplish?
I want to get better at first, really. And it'd be really nice if we made it through Western Valley Conference.
Yeah, awesome. Great to meet you, McKinley. I appreciate it, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All righty. All right, on our next Panther, who am I speaking with?
Jaden Dossel.
Jaden, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome, great to hear. So let's kind of start by introducing yourself and who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
I'm from Cushing. I'm 14, going to be a freshman. And my parents are Corey and Aaron Dossel.
Gotcha. So another one of those kind of 8th graders, going to be a freshman this year. How has it been on the team? I mean, really, kind of your first year up here at the high school level.
It's been pretty good. Fitting in pretty well.
Awesome. Great to hear. Now, talk to me positionally, kind of where you are out on the field.
Usually shortstop or pitcher.
Gotcha. So talk to me about that pitcher position. When you do get a chance to go into the circle, kind of what's something you like to focus on or something you like to keep in mind?
Pitch strikes, hit my shot, hit my spots.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of those things where a good pitcher, it doesn't necessarily a good pitcher gets strikeouts or a good pitcher does that. A good pitcher pitches strikes and the strikeouts will come if you do that and lets the defense really work behind them. Now tell me offensively, how have you felt your bat has come along and that sort of thing?
It's been pretty good other than when I pop up.
Gotcha. So kind of maybe focusing on hard on the line, hard on the ground, kind of staying out of the air in that way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great to hear. Now, any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint this year?
Probably stop swinging at high pitches and just swing at strikes.
Gotcha. Maybe get a little bit more discipline at the plate. I like the aggression, and that's one thing where it's like, at least you're swinging and, you're not sitting there scared to swing, but it's one of those things, a little bit controlled aggression, I'm sure it will work for you. Awesome. Great to speak to you and meet you, and best of luck this season.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Our next Panther, who am I speaking with? Timber, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome, great to hear. So, kind of introduce yourself. Let's start with who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
My
My parents are Trapper and Bobby Forge. I'm 16 years old, and I am from Correctionville.
Gotcha. So 16, and does that make you're going to be a sophomore this year?
I'll be a junior.
Going to be a junior. Gotcha. So kind of broken through from the 8th graders, going to be freshmen now to some of the older girls. Awesome. So kind of tell me, how has it been this year? Obviously, you've had a few years under your belt now. How has it been this year?
Overall, I think it's been pretty good. We've adjusted pretty well.
Yeah, gotcha. Talk to me positionally, kind of where you're at out on the field.
I play first base.
Gotcha. So talk to me a little bit about that spot. I mean, that's one where a bit unique in your responsibilities over there, kind of get the ball almost every play, especially if it's anything in the infield or kind of a weak grounder. So talk to me about kind of your thoughts at first.
I definitely think it can be taken as like challenging or somewhat of an easier spot to play at on the field, but it really just depends on whether or not like your teammates are helping you out with like a good throw, a good ground ball.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on you and your team.
Sure. And that's one of those things where sometimes even if your teammate doesn't help you out and there is a low throw, you got to be able to pick it and do that. How do you feel kind of with your role there and how your ability to stop those balls?
Overall, I think I can be pretty flexible with where the ball is. I'm willing to move around and adjust to the throw that they give me.
Awesome. Awesome. Great to hear. Now, offensively, kind of what are your thoughts on how that's gone this year in your bat?
I think we've definitely improved, me as well. I think one thing I do want to work on, though, is adjusting to like inside pitches. So not really things that I like. So I'd really like to get better at that. But other than that, I think I've been doing pretty well. Same with my teammates.
Gotcha. And that's one thing. I mean, some of these young girls coming in this year who haven't been up here at the high school level, it's hard for them to really know. But with a couple of years of experience under your belt, that's something that I'm sure you know. You don't really prefer those inside pitches, so either kind of lay off or find a way to do something with them. So that's great to see, and great to see from incoming junior. So talk to me a little bit now. Any goals you have for yourself or from a team standpoint?
Like I said, I just want to kind of get better with batting-wise. Other than that, I think that'd be about it.
Awesome. Awesome. Timber, thanks so much for chatting with me. I appreciate it. Best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, now we'll have our next Panther. Alrighty, who am I speaking with?
Shaylee Wig.
Shaylee, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
You're doing great. So, kind of introduce yourself, how old you are, who your parents are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
I'm an 8th grader. My parents are Cody and Kelly Wig. I'm from Correctionville.
Gotcha. So another 8th grader, going to be freshman here this year. So how's it been here your first year up at the high school level? Has it been a tough transition for you or fairly easy?
I wouldn't say it was really a tough. It was just a different level of softball.
Sure.
But it's been fun. It's been a very good experience so far.
Yeah, I like how you put that. I mean, it's the same sport, same ball, same bat, same glove. It's just maybe a different level, different speed. Things are a little bit faster and that sort of thing. So talk to me positionally, kind of where you play out on the field.
I play right field.
Gotcha. So now talk to me about right field, because especially if you have a good pitching staff and, a pitcher that can throw a good fastball and a right-handed batter is going to be late on that, they're going to right field all day with that. So what are your thoughts on kind of playing out there and your responsibilities out there?
I would say, you just got to get under there and be confident in getting to the ball and confident in your arm of where you're going.
Sure.
And just know what's going on, because
it's
traveling pretty fast when it comes to you.
Sure, and I like how you put that. You kind of have to know what's going on before the play begins. So it's one of those things where you kind of got to be, runners on first and second, how many outs, I know where I'm going if it comes to me, I know where I'm going if this happens, because if you're trying to think during the play, it's not very good. So I like how you put that. Kind of know what's going on a little bit beforehand, kind of before the play starts. Any goals you have, either for yourself, from a team standpoint this season, that you'd like to accomplish?
I would say probably making sure the ball gets put in play when you're up to bat.
Yeah.
Not striking out looking.
Yeah, absolutely. Strikeouts are killer to any offense. Even if you hit a ball 2 feet on the ground and it rolls to the pitcher, you have to make that pitcher make the throw, and it's possible they can miss it. So even putting a ball in play in the simplest form is a recipe for success. So I like that. A really good goal for the team. Thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Thanks. All righty.
All righty, who am I speaking with?
Madison Book.
Madison, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Awesome, doing great. So kind of introduce yourself, how old you are, who your parents are, and where you're from, that sort of thing.
I'm 14. I'm an 8th grader. My parents are Brian and Carrie Book, and I'm from Pierson, Iowa.
Gotcha. So an 8th grader, going to be a freshman. Again, one of the kind of first years up here at the high school level. How has the transition been for you?
It's been nice. All of the high schoolers are really good about making sure that everybody feels like they're welcome and all that.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's one of those things where if you kind of have a good culture, which I know Kingsley does, that, like you mentioned, those kind of older girls, they're here to help you and kind of pass on their knowledge. Now, next question I was going to ask is what positions you play, but we see that you got some shin guards on, so I'd assume catcher, am I correct?
Yeah, I catch and I play outfield.
Gotcha. So talk to me a little bit about that catcher position. Very, very unique. The fact that you're kind of the only one faced that other way. You have a full view of everyone on the field and kind of have to be that communication and that leader. What are your thoughts on that role?
I feel like if you want to catch, you have to be able to have a voice.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows me, I always am talking. I'm always yelling. You've got to be able to...
Yeah.
Be there, I
guess.
Yeah,
absolutely. Just watch it, kind of a drill here where a little coming home and catcher's making a play. So, yeah, exactly. Kind of always have to be know what's going on. Now, tell me offensively, how do you feel like your bat has come along this year or anything improvements you've made this year?
My batting has been okay. I feel like I could do better, but I know I've been bunting really well.
Sure.
I got a home run on a bunt. Not a couple games ago, but
gotcha.
It's just I feel like my batting could improve, but
right.
I feel like I can run well.
Yeah. Gotcha. Awesome. And that's one of those things where bunting, especially in softball, the ability to, get those bunts and, get on first and, like you mentioned, kind of run well, run the bases and do that sort of thing. And that's one of those things with the reps, the hitting will come along as you kind of get a little bit older, get more experience up here at the high school level with the quicker game. That'll kind of come. Now, any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint this season?
For my goals, I want to be more confident in the batter's box, coming up there and, knowing that I can hit it.
Yep.
And behind the plate, just making sure I don't let those silly mistakes happen. Bad throws, stuff like that.
Yep. Confidence is really key. Baseball and softball, it's almost as much mental as it is physical. If you kind of get in your head and you get down on yourself, it's not a recipe for success, and it's a way to compound those mistakes. Awesome. Great to meet you. Great to speak with you. Best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Now our next Kingsley Pierson Panther up to the plate, if you will. Who am I speaking with? Caitlin, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. Doing good. So, kind of start off, introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
I'm 14. I'm an 8th grader. My mom's name is Michelle Seglum, and I'm from Kingsley, Iowa.
Gotcha. So, like you mentioned, kind of an 8th grader going into your freshman year. There is a lot of you guys kind of that are in this 8th grade going to be freshmen. So, what's your experience with your teammates, especially kind of the teammates that are your same age, that you're kind of 8th grade going into freshman?
I think we've really learned a lot this year and really grown a lot. It's like a major change from majors and from middle school.
Gotcha.
So, I think we've just really learned a lot and learned more about different situations.
Sure. Gotcha. Awesome. Now, talk to me a little bit about kind of the positions you play. Where do you find yourself out on the field?
I'm a pitcher.
Pitcher. Gotcha. So, talk to me a little bit about how you think you do when you go into the circle. What's a strength of your pitching game? Stuff like that.
I think when I go into the circle, I think one of my strengths is I'm usually really focused when I'm in the circle, and I stay pretty calm when I'm in the circle.
Sure.
Based on the different situations, I'm pretty good at staying calm, and I think that's really important because when you get into those sticky situations, staying calm is really key, because if you don't, so many more things can happen if you're focused on what's going on out on the field, and I think you really just have to stay focused on what's going on at the plate, and I think that I do a pretty good job of that.
Awesome. Great to hear. Now talk to me a little bit about you as a pitcher, obviously.
there's some days you have good days, you're maybe striking out the side, other days not having so good days. What's kind of your thoughts on the rest of the team when you're pitching? How, does the rest of the team do a good job of picking you up on maybe days where you're off, or maybe just in general when they do get the bat on ball, they're able to field it well?
Yeah, I think we have a really good defense, and they're also very supportive, which I'm very grateful for. They never put each other down, and they're just like a really good group of girls, and I think we're really supportive to each other, and that definitely helps a lot on the mound.
Gotcha. Talk to me about kind of when you're up at bat from the offensive point of view. How's your batting kind of come along this year?
It's been a little different from last year. I think I hit a little bit better last year, but it's really just, I think it's adapting to high school and the pitcher's speed and all that. I think my bunts have been a little bit better this year because we really work on bunts.
Awesome.
In practices, so I think that's gotten a little bit better. I think I need to stay a little more confident at the plate, but other than that, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Gotcha. It seems to me that you really have a clear vision of what you need to work on, kind of where you want to be, and that sort of thing. And as to see that as only going to be an incoming freshman, that's super impressive. So awesome. Great to chat with you, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Right.
Thank you. All righty. Our next Panther. All righty. And who am I speaking with?
Emily Poyer.
How are you doing?
Good.
Great to hear. So kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
Okay, I'm 14 years old. My parents are Lonnie and Kathy Poyer, and I'm from Pierson, Iowa.
Gotcha. So another going to be freshman, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So kind of talk to me how the experience has been this year, and tell me a little bit about this, and when did this happen? Has this kind of been all softball season? Did this happen in softball season? What's your story here?
Yeah, so I broke my wrist. There was only one game of this whole season that I technically wasn't injured, but I actually broke my wrist at practice. It was an accident, but
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I've just been trying to come to practices and games and supporting my teammates, and
Gotcha. Kind of taking on truly, really that kind of cheerleader role, kind of dugout, keeping the dugout alive and staying in the game, kind of doing your part even from the dugout. I love to hear it. Any other sports you play or plan to play here in high school besides softball?
I'm gonna be a cheerleader.
Awesome.
But I'm kind of double cheerleader, I guess.
Sure.
I'm a softball cheerleader and a basketball cheerleader.
Awesome. So, we hope that obviously your arm and your wrist is better by the time we get to basketball season this upcoming year. What are kind of your thoughts on the coming years when you play softball, and kind of any goals you have either for yourself in coming years or for the team this year?
Yeah, I just hope to get healed up from this and get back into the game, because at the beginning I really loved it when I could actually play. Yeah, it's just been a fun year, and I just hope to play next year, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, great to hear. Great to meet from you, and best of luck here. Hope you get healed up soon.
Okay.
Thank you. All righty, our next Panther here. All righty. And a little drama on the field here. We got a small little injury here, but everyone's good, so we're ready to resume. Who am I speaking with?
I'm Danica Meisner.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. Great to hear. So tell me a little bit, introduce yourself for our viewers and listeners who aren't familiar with who you are. Let's start with how old you are, who your parents are, and where you're from.
I'm 14 years old. My parents are Chuck and Polly Meisner, and I'm from Pierson, Iowa.
Gotcha. So going to be a freshman, I'm assuming, is that right? Awesome. So a very, very large group of you, kind of 8th graders, going to be freshmen this year. Now, what are your thoughts on your relationship with your teammates, especially your teammates that are kind of your same age?
I feel like as the season has gone on, we're a very tight-knit group.
Sure.
We are very, encouraging of each other, and even if, it's a bad game or a bad play, we always come back together and realize what we have done and, what we can do.
Sure. Awesome. That's great to hear, because not all teams are like that. Some, so to see that you guys kind of have that great mentality is awesome to hear. Now, talk to me positionally, kind of where you're at. And
I'm a third baseman.
Gotcha. So talk to me a little bit about third base, the hot corner, as they call it. I mean, that's one of those positions I would say, especially in the infield, third base and shortstop. Very high workload, a lot of balls coming your way, and especially at third base, that's quite a throw across. So kind of your thoughts there at the hot corner.
I played around a lot with like Little League, but I really fell in love with third base. It's just the aspect of you're working 24/7 and you get so many reps in a game because that is the corner that they want to hit in. But you have to make sure that you are doing your job so then the play doesn't go out the window. Awesome.
Great to hear. Now talk to me kind of offensively. What do you think is a strength of your kind of offensive batting, and or maybe something that you've kind of been working on this year to improve?
The improvements I need is probably confidence.
Sure.
I haven't been the best hitter in the past years, but I've been going to practices and I've been doing personal improvement.
Awesome.
And it's really taken effect on my batting, and I feel like I'm a little bit more.
Yeah. And that's great to kind of see that you've kind of noticed that, and you've kind of noticed it getting a little bit better. Now, talk to me about any goals that you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint this season, that you're really looking to accomplish.
Personal goals I have is I just want to play the game that I love and make sure that I'm doing what I need to do and encouraging others on the team.
Awesome. Great to hear. Thank you so much for chatting with me, and best of luck the rest of the season.
You too.
Thank you. All righty here, folks, and we're just going to wait here for our next little group of Panthers to come in here. Awesome. Our first Brave Soul here. Who am I speaking with?
Maya Dossel.
Maya, awesome. Great to meet you. Now, kind of first for our viewers and our listeners who aren't familiar with who you are, let's kind of start, introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
Okay, so my parents are Aaron and Corey Dossel. I'm from Cushing, Iowa, and I'm 17 years old.
Gotcha. So 17, are you going to be a junior this year or going to be a senior this year?
Nope, I'm going to be a senior.
Going to be a senior.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts now, kind of an upperclassman on the team. Obviously, these girls are a lot of 8th graders on the team. I was surprised with how many there were. So a lot of young girls on the team. And how have you embraced that kind of upperclassman leadership role this year?
I would say I like having all of them around, and I don't know, try and teach them the things that I know whenever I can, whether it's like base running or what to do in situations and stuff like that.
Sure, and that's one of those things. Just by, I mean, you have so many more reps than they do, so just based on that alone, I mean, the things that you've seen compared to the reps that they have, invaluable information coming from you. Talk to me a little bit about defensively, kind of where you're at out on the field.
Okay, so I'm a center fielder, and then I'll occasionally pitch too. So center field comes with its own like leadership and stuff.
Yeah.
I enjoy being kind of the primary one, I guess, out there.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going with that. You know, center field, kind of that leader of the outfielders, and have to be that kind of vocal outfielder. Is that a position that you're comfortable with out there?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Talk to me about your batting. How has that kind of come along this year? What do you think is a strength of yours, or what is something that you've improved this year?
I would say improved this year is kind of being smart when I'm in the batter's box,
Sure.
like any way on. Like I don't need to hit doubles or triples, just line drive or a hard ground ball will get me on base. Because as the leadoff batter.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I feel not all players really get or understand, that really any way on, anyway, especially being that leadoff hitter, when you can get on first base, you're that much likely to score runs that inning,
Exactly.
However that old adage goes. But great to see that that's kind of your approach. Any goals that you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint, that you're looking to kind of accomplish the rest of the season?
So this week we have the conference tournament, and we did unfortunately lose to Mobile last week, so we see them again on Wednesday. So hopefully we can get past them and maybe make it to the championship in the conference tournament.
Gotcha. Do you think that's kind of an advantage for you guys? Because this one's kind of like a revenge game a little bit, where they might be coming in thinking, we already beat these guys once, whereas you guys are coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, I do think that we are coming back with a vengeance, because we played them on their home field last time, and now we're kind of in a neutral location. So hopefully we can come out on top.
Yeah, and just the fact that you've seen their lineup once, and you've seen their pitcher once already. So great to hear. So awesome. Thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, and our next Kingsley Pierson Panther. All righty, who am I speaking with?
Addie Dossel.
Addie, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome, great to hear. So, kind of introduce yourself, how old you are, who your parents are, and where you're from, that sort of thing.
Well, my sister just went, so
awesome.
Same as her.
Awesome.
Mom and dad, Aaron and Corey. I live in Cushing.
Gotcha. So are you twins?
No, I'm a year younger.
Gotcha.
So I'll be a junior.
So you'll be a junior. Awesome.
Yep.
Gotcha. So talk to me a little bit about that. Now, only going to be a junior, but still an upperclassman really on the team. So how has it been kind of in your experience with that role this year?
I don't know. Just like there's so many 8th graders and
You're outnumbered. You guys are outnumbered for sure.
Are.
It's not normally like that. Normally you have, a lot of the guys that have been around before, or the girls that have been around before, but tons and tons of 8th graders. But that's a good thing as well. So you have kind of a promising future.
Yep.
Talk to me positionally, kind of where you're at.
So I play second in varsity if the main second baseman is pitching, and then short in JV when she's not pitching.
Gotcha. So kind of either one of those middle infield positions are something you're confident with. Tell me a little bit about when you play those, whether it is second or short. I mean, what's the relationship got to be with the other middle infielder? To me, you guys really have to be always in communication.
Yeah, we do.
That sort
Especially
of thing.
when it's like hit to the outfield, you got to know who's the cut or who's covering the base.
Right.
Or,
yep, absolutely.
Which, yeah. I don't really know.
Yeah, awesome. Batting, how have you felt that's been this year for you?
I don't bat that much because I have a DH in varsity, and then I don't bat JV when I play varsity, so
gotcha.
I don't really bat. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. Any goals you have this year, either for yourself or kind of from an entire team standpoint?
I'm hoping we can beat WC, get our revenge, and then hopefully make it pretty far in the conference tourney.
Awesome. Well, thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season, Addie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, our next Kingsley Pierson Panther coming up. Alrighty, who am I speaking with?
Addie.
Addie, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. So, kind of introduce yourself for those viewers and listeners who aren't familiar with you, kind of who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
My name is Addie Law. I'm going to be a senior. I'm from Correctionville, and my parents are Rachel and Jeff.
Gotcha. So a senior this year on the team. Talk to me how that's been. I kind of talked.
I'm gonna be a senior. I'm a junior.
Gotcha. So a junior, kind of gonna be a senior this year. So, but even so, kind of still one of those upperclassmen, considered upperclassmen and a leader. How has that been, especially with tons and tons of 8th graders on the team?
Good. I pick them up whenever. I got a lot of third basemen I go with.
Yeah.
So whenever they get down on themselves, I just bring them up and say, "You're good. Shake it off."
Gotcha. Awesome. So I assume then third base is kind of your position out there?
Yeah.
Awesome. So kind of the hot corner, as they say, a very high workload, I would say. Third and shortstop, kind of both of those is a lot of action out there. Are you comfortable with that?
Oh yeah, I'm comfortable.
Awesome. I feel like you kind of have to want the ball to be hit to you, especially playing third and shortstop, and it sounds like you do. Talk to me offensively. Kind of where do you feel like your batting has gone this year, or how has that been going?
It's gone good. I think so.
Gotcha. Is there anything in particular that you feel like has gotten better, or maybe is there anything that you still have to work on?
I know what pitches I like.
Sure.
What I can hit hard.
Gotcha. So maybe developed a little bit of a preference towards some things.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, any goals that you have either for yourself or from a team standpoint this season?
It's like Maya's. Beat Mobile. Hopefully beat Mobile and play hard. Play better than we did last week.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me. I appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
That was Addie Law. And now who am I speaking with?
I'm Julia Howe.
How are you doing, Julia?
Good.
Awesome. So kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
I'm a freshman. I'm from Kingsley, and my parents are Lance and Jenny Howe.
Gotcha. So a freshman now. Did you play on the team as an 8th grader as well?
Yep, I played center field last year.
Gotcha. So kind of now year 2 up here at the high school level. What are some things that you've really noticed you've been improving on here in kind of year 2?
Well, the pitches I swing at are definitely like more particular, not swinging at bad pitches, which has helped me in that.
Yeah, and that's one thing. It's to me, if you have 8th graders, it's good to know that they're aggressive and maybe swinging at some high and low pitches. But then it's great to even see when you get a little bit older, they kind of control that a little bit and are able to kind of have controlled aggression up to bat. Now you mentioned center field is kind of your spot, right?
Yep, and then left.
Gotcha. Center and left. So kind of tell me either one of those positions, kind of in your mind, the most important thing to keep in mind as an outfielder here at the high school level.
Probably just keep it in front of you and read the ball.
Gotcha. And I really like that. Keep it in front of you. Nothing behind you. Have to have that mentality at all times. So any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint this season?
Just being like a competitive team and having like a winning record.
Awesome. Well, thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it, and best of luck this season. And that was Julia Howe. Now our next Panther coming up to the plate, if you will. Who am I speaking with?
Brooklyn Billner.
Brooklyn, how you doing?
Good.
Awesome. So kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, and kind of where you're from.
I'm a junior from Kingsley, and my parents are Dub and Casey Billner.
Gotcha. So a junior this year. Are you going to be a junior or going to be a senior?
Going to be a senior.
Got to be a senior. Gotcha. Awesome. So kind of another upperclassman on the team. What are your thoughts on kind of how you've embraced that role, kind of a leadership role this year?
I just try to encourage them no matter what happens.
Gotcha. And what are your thoughts? I mean, really, do you think you guys have a good group of 8th graders? I mean, do they need to have a long way to go, or have you seen good things from them so far?
I've seen good things.
Awesome. Great to hear. Talk to me kind of defensively. Where are you at? What positions do you play?
I either pitch or I'm at second.
Gotcha. So talk to me about pitching. Kind of when you do get the opportunity and you are called upon to go in the circle, what's something important that you have to think about or a strength of your pitching game, you would say?
I just try to hit my spots.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of those things where, to me, a good pitcher isn't someone that can get all these strikeouts. It's a pitcher who can throw strikes and just kind of allowing your defense behind you to help you and get those outs. So that's great to see that you feel that same way. Now, any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint this season?
Just to have a winning record.
Awesome. Yeah, get more wins than the losses. Love to hear it. Thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What? Okay. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do.
Alrighty. And our next Panther, who am I chatting with?
I'm Georgia Howe.
Georgia, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
I'm Georgia. I'm a senior, a graduated senior, and my parents are Lance and Jenny Howe.
Gotcha. So one of the first kind of truly seniors we have here that I'm able to speak with. Kind of what are your thoughts on how you guys have done this year?
I think we've done pretty well for adjusting to different things. I played third base last year, so I'm at shortstop this year, so it's a little different, but getting used to it, and I think people are adjusting to their spots well.
Gotcha. And I mean, is that something that obviously you as that kind of senior leadership role coach obviously kind of called upon you to kind of move over to shortstop in that way?
Yeah, kind of.
Awesome. So now tell me about that shortstop. You said it's a little bit different from third. Kind of what are your thoughts on comparing the two?
Reaction time probably. Third, you got to have a lot of reaction time.
Sure.
Shortstop, you have some time to think about it, which
Gotcha.
can be a bad thing sometimes.
Sure.
But
maybe have some time to think about it, but a lot more ground to cover
Yeah.
as well. So maybe a little double-edged sword there. Talk to me offensively. How do you feel like your bat has done this year and your offensive game has been?
I think it's been pretty well this year. I kind of went in a slump for a little bit, but just adjusting to pitchers and stuff is a lot better than I have been in past years.
Well, that's good because, I mean, it is softball, baseball. It's a streaky sport. You can be down. You can have slumps. You can be hot. You know, it's just kind of you got to stay consistent there in the middle. So now, any goals you have either for yourself or for the rest of the team here the rest of the season?
I would just say continue with a winning season and try to push to be top of conference.
Awesome.
And the tournament coming up.
Awesome. And now I want to ask this obviously to all of our graduated seniors. Do you have any idea what you're going to be doing here come fall?
I'm going to the University of Iowa for business and marketing.
Awesome. Go Hawks. Love to hear it. Thanks so much for chatting with me. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And that was Georgia Howe. So now we're going to get our next Kingsley Pierson Panther. And who am I speaking with?
Elena Getch.
Elena, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. So kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
My parents are Shannon and Todd Getch. I live outside of Washita. I go to River Valley.
Gotcha. Awesome. So now, what are kind of your positions that you play on the team?
I play right field for varsity.
Gotcha. Awesome. So talk to me a little bit about that position. Now, to me, when you're kind of younger, T-ball, coach pitch, whatever you want to say, they kind of just maybe throw you in right field. But here at the high school level, especially if you have a very effective pitcher, like I believe you guys do, those right-handed batters are going to be late, and those balls are coming to right field. So what's kind of your thoughts at that position at this level?
Yeah, you can definitely have some hard hits out there. You just got to be able to react well to it, read the ball.
Gotcha. And talk to me a little bit now offensively. Where do you feel like your bat has come this year, or anything you've been constantly working on?
Yeah, I feel like I've been doing pretty well this year on batting. Just try to continue throughout the year, get better every game.
Gotcha. What do you think? How do you think the team has done overall? What would you say? Do you think batting is a strength, fielding, pitching? From a team perspective, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, some days we have some good bats, and some days we have really good defense.
Sure. Maybe switches or varies, kind of depending on the game, and I'm sure the key is always any given night. Put all three of those together, and that's a good recipe for success.
Yeah.
Any goals that you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint, kind of moving forward the rest of the season?
Definitely. So conference tournaments coming up. Goal would be to do pretty well in that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Elena, thanks for speaking with me, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Elena Getch, and now we'll have our next Panther on the hot seat. Who am I speaking with?
Ruby Thompson.
Ruby, how are you doing?
What?
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, great to hear. So now tell me a little bit for our viewers and our listeners who aren't familiar with who you are, kind of introduce yourself, how old you are, who your parents are, where you're from.
I am 16, so I'm a sophomore. My parents are Megan and Dallas Thompson. I live in Kingsley.
Gotcha. So now a sophomore here. Are you going to be a sophomore this upcoming year, or going to be a junior?
No, I am. I'm going to be a junior.
Going to be a junior.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Always got to clarify that for myself. Going to be a junior. So how has it been now? You have a few years on the team, and now kind of looking to continue to improve now kind of in your upperclassmen years. Kind of your thoughts on how you've done so far?
I think I've done pretty okay. Every year is just going to get better with more experience in the position.
Gotcha. Awesome. Talk to me about kind of the positions you play and where you're at in the field.
I catch for varsity.
Gotcha. So varsity catcher. Now, catcher is probably the most unique position on the field. You're only one face that other way. You have that full comprehensive view of the entire field, and you have to be, a communicator and be very vocal. Mm-hmm. Is that a role that you're comfortable with on the field?
Yes, I'm getting more and more comfortable with it.
Gotcha. So maybe something that you've even had to get more comfortable with. Gotcha. Now, talk to me, your batting. How do you feel like that has gone this year?
I think it's been good, pretty good, but it can always get better.
Sure.
I'm always working on it.
Sure. What do you think is a real strength at this point of kind of your offensive game?
I don't know. I always look to get on base. That's my main goal.
Sure.
And if a triple or a home run or double comes, then that's always great.
That's just kind of icing on the cake and the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But any way to get on base, walk, hit by pitch, that sort of thing. So great to hear that that's kind of your mentality. Now, any goals that you have, either for yourself or kind of from an entire team standpoint the rest of this year?
I don't know. I just want to... Hitting's always a goal, being a good hitter, and then just being able to merge as a team.
Gotcha.
Well, have fun.
Yeah. Gotcha. Awesome. Kind of mix we want to be competitive and we want to win, but we still got to have fun.
Yeah.
So it's always a balance, and you can never have too much of one or the other. So awesome. Thanks for chatting with me, Ruby. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that was Ruby Thompson. So now we'll go here with our next Kingsley Pierson Panther. Who am I speaking with?
Claire Pshaw.
Claire, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome, doing great. So kind of introduce yourself, how old you are, who your parents are, where you're from.
I'm from Pierson, and I'm a sophomore.
Gotcha.
And my mom and dad are John and Robin Pshaw.
Gotcha. So were you on the team as well as a freshman and an 8th grader?
Yes.
Gotcha. So now kind of your third year, how have you kind of felt that you've improved over the years up to now?
Well, I feel like my my throwing and just fielding and hitting, especially overall, has definitely improved.
Kind of just kind of overall, everything about it just kind of improved. That's great to hear, and kind of I don't know, maybe a little bit of a reward for some of that work you've put in your first couple of years, I'm sure. Now, talk to me positionally, kind of where you're at.
Well, for JV, I play center field, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So out there in center. Now, tell me a little bit about that position. That's one where kind of the leader of the outfield in my mind, and in center have to have that range and be vocal. So, what are your thoughts on that position?
Well, it's very position where you have to be loud and talk to your teammates because you are basically like the leader on the field with that position, but I enjoy playing it.
Yeah, awesome. Great to hear. Now, offensively, how do you feel like you've been doing with your bat, and what's a real strength of your batting game at this point, would you say?
I think that I just sometimes get like the little base hits, so I get on base a lot.
Gotcha.
Which is good for the team.
Yeah, awesome. And that's one of those things where obviously it's good to hit home runs, doubles, triples, but if you can consistently get on base a majority of the time that you're up at bat, you're going to be really effective for your team offensively. So it's great to see that that's something that you feel like you do well at. Now, any goals that you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint, that you'd like to accomplish?
For the team, the Western Valley Conference is coming up, so we have a game tomorrow night, so I really hope we win that.
Gotcha.
But personally, I just want to improve.
Gotcha.
Keep improving.
Awesome. Great to hear. Well, Claire, thanks for chatting with me, and best of luck here coming up in the Western Valley.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Claire Peshaw. And now we'll get another Kingsley Pierson Panther up. Alrighty, who am I speaking with?
Kingsley Pierson.
How are you doing, Kinsey?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Great to hear. So, kind of introduce yourself to start things off, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
My parents are Shane and Jesse Beeson and Deidre Bardoff. I'm 17. I'm a junior going to be a senior, and I'm from Pierson.
Gotcha. So, going to be a senior this year, obviously. Maybe the first year that you're kind of seen as one of those upperclassmen on the team. How have you really embraced that role, especially with, I mean, you guys have so many 8th graders. Yeah. I was very, very surprised with the amount of girls I've asked how old you are, and they say 8th grader going to be freshmen. So kind of what are your thoughts on that?
There's a lot of 8th graders, and it helps to have a lot of upperclassmen to help them get into their other roles and help them improve on their skills.
Sure. Awesome. Kind of like it's a process that everyone goes through. Kind of you're that younger person, kind of getting the advice from the older person, and then before you know it, you turn into that older person and kind of giving the advice the other way. So it's great to see that that's kind of the same way here.
Yeah.
So now talk to me positionally, kind of where you play.
So on JV, I play left field, and then I play varsity first base.
Gotcha. So first base. Talk to me about that position. Now, I think some people think, third base and first, they're both on the corners, so they're about the same, but they probably couldn't be different. They're more different. So, yeah. I mean, tell me about first base and what do you think you do well there?
First base, I feel like it's very scary sometimes. Like
Sure.
If I mess up, then it's like a mess up on the team and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very different because
Yeah.
I'm not used to it as well. So.
Gotcha. And first base is one of those where it's like, maybe even if a teammate didn't make the best throw, it's something where it's like you still got to get that. We still got to pick that. Yeah, or something like that. Awesome. So now kind of offensively, how do you feel like you've really been doing your bat this year and that sort of thing?
My batting's on and off. Like some
Sure.
games I'll have really good hits and then the others I'll like strike out.
Gotcha.
Time.
So maybe, I mean, in baseball and softball, it is kind of one of those streaky sports. You could be kind of hit the low and then you're hot for a couple games and back down. So obviously just kind of working to be more consistent there in the middle, I'm sure. Awesome. Any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint the rest of the season?
For the team, I hope we do good in the conference tournament that we have coming up, and for myself, probably get more consistent at hitting.
Awesome. Great to hear, and thanks for chatting with me. Best of luck here in the Western Valley Conference. All righty. And I believe that may be the majority of our players. I'm not quite sure. I think that's the majority of the players here. Now we'll get Coach Norris in here. Yeah, that will be great if you could. All righty, Coach. How we doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Doing great. So first and foremost, kind of introduce yourself for our viewers aren't familiar with who you are. How long have you been here at Kingsley coaching?
I'm Dean Norris, and I've been at Kingsley just my first year. I've been over at River Valley for 18 or 19 years, I think. So I've been over at River Valley for 25 years altogether. Softball, 18 or 19 years.
Gotcha. So kind of tell me your thoughts on how you feel the team has done so far this season, and kind of your approach on that in that regards.
Oh, we've been a little bit up and down. We've I think we still have our best softball in front of us. I really do. We hit the ball pretty well. There's some nights when we don't play defense as well as we'd like, but there's a lot of talent. I mean, it's this year and in the future, they're in pretty good hands here. It's a good group of kids. They work hard and ask them to do.
Gotcha. And I mean, what do you, like you mentioned, kind of can maybe change on any given night, but what would you say is really the strength or what Kingsley prides themselves on here at the softball program?
We hit the ball really well up and down the lineup. The kids, we've got 9 kids that we send up to the plate. They give you a chance every time, and we're pretty aggressive. Like I say, on the negative side, defensively, sometimes we let teams back in it a little bit with some silly errors and things like that, but that's been improving here lately.
Gotcha. Talk to me about kind of your team and how it's composed. Now, a couple of seniors and upperclassmen, but wow, Coach, a lot of 8th graders here are going to be freshmen, and I'm sure that's something where you can be excited for the future in that regards.
Right. Actually, there's 15 8th graders, so
yeah.
The future's really, really bright. We have just one senior, Georgia, and
Gotcha.
She's a really good leader and a fabulous softball player. So that helps out when one of your best players is your leader, and she works hard every day, and the kids follow her.
Gotcha. And I was kind of talking to Georgia, and she said that kind of moved to shortstop this year, maybe from third. And I asked, is that something that maybe Coach Norris maybe suggested to you, or a place that he wanted you to play kind of as that leadership role? And she said, yeah, anything I can do to help the team. And that, she wasn't the only person that said that. So talk to me about kind of the willingness for the girls to, kind of adjust and kind of go with the fly with you.
That defines the whole team. They've all been very willing to do whatever's best for the team. This is the first year that we've merged together,
Sure.
So we had to mix it a little bit. So kids had to play different positions and bat in different spots in the lineup, and we've had zero negative input from the kids or parents or anything like that. Everyone's just been very, very supportive, and hopefully it pays off at the end of the year when we start playing our best softball during district time.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, Coach, talk to me a little bit with what you guys have coming up next. Now, we're supposed to have a game today, but obviously canceled because of some weather here, a windy day in Kingsley. But something I heard from the girls, you guys have Woodbury Central coming up, and maybe a little bit of a revenge game.
Right. We have the conference tournament. We play them first round, and we came out and played one of our worst games of the year. I don't want to take anything away from Woodbury because they played a good game, but I think we're capable of playing much, much better. And we ended up losing 13-10, so it was a high-scoring affair. And I think our girls are very, very focused to have a better effort this next time around on Wednesday.
Awesome. Now talk to me, Coach. I guess your goals, you mentioned kind of playing the best softball come district time, but ultimately at the end of the year, where you would like to see the team?
Well, I'd like to see us make a run at the end of the year. I think we have the talent to do it.
Sure.
We have to stay away from the big innings where we give 4 or 5 outs in an inning and things like that. Lately we've had a little trouble knocking runs in. We've left kids on second, third. We've left a lot of people on base. So we're close, but
Sure.
those are the things that we've got to clear up to win games ultimately in the postseason.
Gotcha. And now, obviously, moving forward, you kind of past the end of this year and future years here at Kingsley, what's something you're really excited about?
Well, unfortunately, the merger split is coming, so the future is kind of uncertain as we speak here.
Gotcha.
I think things are going to go well here. They've got good numbers and talent. The young kids are very, very talented, and the same way they've learned from the older kids that they work hard and do things the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, appreciate you letting us come down here and meet the team, and appreciate you chatting with us. Best of luck here coming up here in the conference tournament.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you for watching this exclusive broadcast on Fuller Digital Solutions. To receive notifications and links about your favorite team's live streams, join our text club by scanning this QR code or text the word on the screen to the number shown. If your business would like to be a sponsor on broadcasts like this, please reach out to us at fullerdigitalsolutions@gmail.com. Join us all year long for coverage of your favorite team on Fuller Digital Solutions.